Let us understand what are abstract classes. So let me give you the complete idea about the inheritance and reusability and what are abstract classes. So I'll take simple example and discuss everything. Suppose I have a class called base, and this is having a method, public method, void fun1, that is function 1, and this is displaying cout base function 1. That's it. And it's also having one function, void function 2, then cout base function 2. Now I have a base class. Now I will derive a class derive. It is from base class. Now this is the example where a derived class is reusing the functions of base class, because it is inheriting from base class, so everything present in the base class is also available in derived class. So it's borrowing the features. So base class is sharing its features with the derived classes. So this is reusability. So one purpose of inheritance is reusability. Now second thing, inside this I will write down one function, that is same function, void function 2, and here I will say cout derived fun2. Now this is function overriding, redefining a function of base class in a child class, that is derived class. It is redefining the function. When it is reusing, borrowing, then what is the need of redefining it? So when you are saying you want to redefine, it means you want to achieve polymorphism. So the purpose of inheritance is polymorphism, right? So do you think when a child class is having this function, the base class should have the body of the function? In some cases, yes, we need, so we keep it. In some cases, no, only for namesake it is having. Let the derived classes have the overrided body of that function. So it means you want to achieve polymorphism. So for achieving polymorphism, we make the functions in the base class as virtual, saying that they are not real, they are just for namesake, and the real function is in the child class, which is overrided, right? So using a base class pointer, you can access this. Already I have discussed this one. Now the next thing, when you have that function, do you think you need the body? When it is just for namesake, do you need the body? No, I don't need the body. Suppose I want the body of that function only in the derived classes. Base class has no functionality at all. It is just having a function, right? Just a prototype of a function. So let us remove the body. If you remove the body, this will not do. You have to implement the function, so either you have to do it outside using scope resolution. No, I don't want to do that also. Then make it as assign 0. Assign 0. Then this is called as pure virtual function. Pure virtual function. So what is the purpose of this function? The purpose of this function is whole and soul to achieve polymorphism. We want the derived classes to override this function. So it becomes mandatory for derived classes to override the function. So it means the base class is governing or giving a rule to the child classes that you must override this function. So it's like a standard. It is setting a standard, or it is defining an interface. So yes, pure virtual functions are useful for defining interface. Now, final statement. If a class is having pure virtual function, then that class is called as abstract class. Abstract class. Can you create the object of that class base B? No. Can you create the pointer of that class base P? Yes. So abstract classes cannot be instantiated. You cannot have the objects, but you can have pointer to achieve polymorphism. How to achieve polymorphism? Already I have shown you that you can assign the object of derived class right? And you can call functions present in the base class. So you can call fun2. Then whose function will be called? Whose function will be called? Derived class function will be called. This we have already seen. This is for achieving polymorphism. So this is about abstract class. So slowly I have built up the concept. So now finally you see. Now the conclusion. What is the purpose of inheritance? Two things. One is reusability. This derived class is getting that function fun1 borrowed from base class. Then second thing, to achieve polymorphism. What is that? There is a pure virtual function. So this derived class must override that function. So that's it. So we can write three type of classes in C++ based on this criteria. There are three categories. First one, a classes will have all concrete function, no pure virtual function, means every function is implemented. Then inheritance is reusability. Now we will categorize the classes in C++. Now in C++ we can write three type of classes based on the criteria. What is that? A class is having concrete function, means the function which is defined, having a body, or pure virtual function, which is meant only for overriding, right? Its body is not there. Child class must override. Now based on this, there are three things or three type of classes that you can write. Let us see. A base class with all concrete functions. What is the purpose of this? Reusability. So if any class is inheriting from such a base class, then the purpose is reusability. Now if a base class is having some concrete functions, right, and some pure virtual functions, so the purpose is both reusability as well as polymorphism. I'll remove this. The third one, if a base class is having all pure virtual functions, then the only purpose is polymorphism. This is important. If a base class is having all concrete function, then the purpose of that base class, means for the child classes, right? For the child classes we are talking about. Then reusability. It can borrow all the features. Derived class can borrow all the features. Second one, some concrete function, some virtual function, means the base class is for reusability also, borrowing the features also, and also to achieve polymorphism. If a base class is having all pure virtual function, means the only purpose of that base class is to achieve polymorphism, and such a base class we can call it as interface. That's it. So in C++ we can have these three type of classes, right? The purpose of the classes, based on the purpose I have given this one. So these classes are called as abstract, and these are also called as abstract. When everything is abstract, so it's better use a name interface. It's a class only, it's not anything different. It's a class only, but we are saying it's an interface. Reason, the only purpose is to achieve polymorphism. That's why we are calling it as interface. Interface is not a keyword in C++, just we are calling it as interface, right? There's a category name we are giving. So it's an abstract class, this is also an abstract class. But when it comes to Java, such classes are called as interface only. And there is separate keyword called interface. There is something different than classes. But C++ doesn't have that. For interfaces also we write class in C++. That's why C++ supports multiple inheritance. That's it. So I have explained you what are abstract classes. So I can show you how it works, how it looks like.